In a world where emotional disconnection and anxiety often dominate relationships, an ancient yet powerful practice is quietly reshaping how men and women connect. This is the practice of semen retention, a discipline that goes far beyond the surface-level concept of control or abstinence. It's not just about avoiding release, it's about mastering energy, emotion, and inner calm. For many men, it becomes a path to clarity and confidence. But what's truly fascinating is how this practice extends its influence beyond men and becomes a source of calm and emotional balance for women as well. When practiced with awareness and intention, semen retention doesn't just transform a man's inner state, it transforms the energy field of his relationships. It cultivates stability, presence, and peace. Around this point, I'd like to invite you to join our Telegram channel through the link in the description, where deeper discussions and daily reflections on energy mastery and conscious relationships are shared. When a man frequently releases, his body enters a pattern of depletion. After the momentary high, there is often a subtle sense of fatigue, distraction, and irritability. Over time, this emotional inconsistency creates instability in relationships. Women who naturally anchor to emotional cues sense this inconsistency like a radio picking up static. They might not always articulate it, but they feel less safe. They feel as if they must become the emotional regulators of the relationship. However, when a man begins to retain his energy, no longer fluctuates wildly. His mood steadies, his focus deepens, his presence expands. The woman intuitively feels this shift. She no longer feels the need to overthink his moods or second-guess his intentions. She relaxes. Her nervous system begins to mirror his calm, creating a resonance of peace between them. That's the unseen magic of semen retention. It's not just personal power, it's energetic leadership. Semen retention is not just a physical act, it's psychological and spiritual discipline. It trains the mind to redirect impulses and to build mastery over fleeting desires. Modern culture often promotes instant gratification, yet instant gratification is the enemy of peace. Women today face immense emotional noise, from social media, from expectations, from the pace of modern life. When she encounters a man who is truly grounded, she finds a sanctuary. His calmness becomes contagious. The rhythm of his breath, the steadiness of his eyes, the patience in his words, all of it creates a space where her nervous system can finally rest. In that rest, she softens. And in that softness, connection deepens. This is how retention, indirectly, heals both masculine and feminine energy simultaneously. Beyond the chemistry and physical attraction, semen retention builds spiritual intimacy. It bridges to souls beyond words. When energy is not wasted, it circulates between partners as emotional warmth and trust. Every gaze, every touch carries more meaning. Women describe this experience as being seen not for their appearance but for their essence. That's the true power of retention. It allows a man to witness, not consume. And in that witnessing, love deepens. This is not about celibacy. It's about consciousness. When a man directs his energy upward instead of outward, he becomes more intuitive, more compassionate, and more present. The woman feels it instantly. She feels emotionally safe and spiritually connected. She feels that her presence is enough. As his retention journey continues, something shifts in the dynamic. Arguments become rarer because his reactions become thoughtful rather than impulsive. He no longer feels the urge to prove himself or dominate. His energy doesn't fluctuate with external validation. Instead, it flows steadily, nourishing both himself and his partner. The woman senses this deeply. She feels as if she's in the presence of someone who knows himself. That kind of energy is magnetic. It makes her feel calm, safe, and cherished. She no longer needs to overanalyze the relationship because the energy already speaks of stability. When a woman feels safe, she flourishes. Her femininity blooms naturally. That's the secret many people overlook. Retention doesn't just benefit the man, it frees the woman to become her most authentic self. When a man's energy is contained, it begins to rise through the body. Ancient traditions like Taoism and Tantra speak of this upward movement, the transmutation of raw sexual energy into spiritual consciousness. This shift is not only metaphysical, but also emotional. A man who retains begins to vibrate at a calmer frequency. This calm energy becomes like a protective field around the relationship, It's not something you can see, but you can feel it. It feels like security, like peace. The woman feels her heart relax, her thoughts quiet, her emotions settle. It's as if his inner stillness becomes a lighthouse guiding her through her emotional tides. There's something beautiful that happens when both partners operate in this energy. Love stops being dramatic and starts being rhythmic. The highs are still there, but the lows aren't destructive. The woman feels the balance between passion and peace. She feels desired but not drained. She feels held, not handled. That's the subtle yet profound difference that semen retention brings. It replaces chaos with quiet power. And in that quiet power, true intimacy grows. This doesn't mean the man becomes passive or emotionless. On the contrary, semen retention awakens masculine energy in its purest form. It's not aggression or dominance. It's direction, purpose, and presence. The kind of masculine energy that makes a woman feel feminine without her needing to perform femininity. She doesn't need to compete or control. She simply exists in her softness, knowing he's steady enough to hold space for both their energies. In this balance, both grow. She becomes more radiant. He becomes more focused. Together, they build harmony rather than drama. There's also a physiological component to all this. Retention stabilizes hormones, enhances focus, and increases vitality. This biological steadiness translates emotionally. The man no longer swings between hyperarousal and exhaustion. His presence feels stable. Women sense this biochemical steadiness instinctively. They feel his heartbeat not rushing from desire but steady from awareness. In such energy, communication becomes effortless. She feels safe to express her emotions without fear of judgment. The emotional atmosphere becomes nurturing rather than reactive. The relationship feels less like a battlefield and more like a meditation. What's remarkable is how this calm extends beyond relationships. A retained man walks differently. He speaks differently. His eyes hold attention. Doesn't chase validation because his worth isn't dependent on external pleasure. This independence of energy draws respect, not just from women, but from everyone. And when a woman witnesses this, she feels proud, not possessive. She feels connected to a man who leads himself. That kind of leadership inspires peace, not pressure. Of course, semen retention is not a miracle cure for all relationship problems. It requires awareness, discipline, and consistency. Without emotional maturity, it can turn into repression or ego. But when practiced with mindfulness, it becomes a tool of transformation. It teaches balance between control and surrender. For women, the calm that emerges from such men is not superficial. It's deeply spiritual. It touches the subconscious level, healing wounds of inconsistency and insecurity. Not just she can finally trust, not just him, but life itself. The beauty of this practice lies in its quiet impact. It doesn't demand attention, simply radiates it. When more men embrace this inner mastery, relationships will begin to heal from within. The chaos that often defines modern love will slowly give way to connection, depth, and mutual respect. The more grounded the man, the calmer the woman. Calmer the woman, the more peaceful the home. That peace ripples into the world around them. So, if you're a man watching this, know that this practice is not about holding back, it's about holding space. It's about creating a life where your energy supports not just you, but everyone connected to you. And if you're a woman, know that this calm you feel is not a coincidence. It's energy alignment at its finest. Together, both can create harmony that doesn't need to be explained. It's simply felt. Tension becomes not an act of resistance, but a gift of presence. It's a reminder that real strength doesn't come from control. It comes from balance. If you've resonated with this message, remember to join our Telegram channel through the link in the description to connect with others who are walking the same path of inner mastery and conscious living. And before you leave, please consider supporting this channel using the thanks button below. Every contribution, no matter how small, helps keep this content alive and growing. Your support means everything. Thank you for being here, and may peace always flow through you.